China blasts U.S. military aid to Taiwan. Protesters march against Argentina's education cuts. IAEA inspects Fukushima radioactive water release. Escaped army horses run amok in central London. Flash floods sweep through half of Kenya. Greek skies turn orange as North African dust blows in.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Friday, April 26th, and here are your top stories. China on Wednesday blasted the latest package of U.S. military assistance to Taiwan on Wednesday, saying that such funding was pushing the self-governing island republic into a dangerous situation. The U.S. Senate late Tuesday passed $95 billion in war aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan after months of delays and contentious debate over how involved the United States should be in foreign wars. China claims the entire island of Taiwan as its own territory and has threatened to take it by force if necessary.
The mainland's Taiwan Affairs Office said the aid seriously violates U.S. commitments to China and sends a wrong signal to the Taiwan independence separatist forces. On Tuesday, Taiwan's President-elect Lai Ching-te told a visiting U.S. congressional delegation that the aid package would strengthen the deterrence against authoritarianism in the West Pacific ally chain and help ensure peace and stability across the Taiwan Strait and also boost confidence in the region. The package covers a wide range of parts and services aimed at maintaining and upgrading Taiwan's military hardware. Separately, Taiwan has signed billions in contracts with the U.S. for latest generation F-16 Volts fighter jets, M1 Abrams main battle tanks, and the HIMARS rocket system, which the U.S. has also supplied to Ukraine.
Hundreds of thousands of Argentinians filled the streets of Buenos Aires and other cities on Tuesday to demand increased funding for the country's public universities in an outpouring of anger at Libertarian President Javier Milei's harsh austerity measures. The scale of the demonstration in downtown Buenos Aires appeared to exceed other massive demonstrations that have rocked the capital since Milei came to power. Students and professors coordinated with the country's powerful trade unions and leftist political parties to push back against budget cuts that have forced Argentina's most venerable university to declare a financial emergency and warn of imminent closure.
In a sign, unrest was growing in response to Milei's policies. Even conservative politicians, private university administrators, and right-wing TV personalities joined the march, defending the common cause of public education in Argentina that has underpinned the country's social progress for decades. Describing universities as bastions of socialism where professors indoctrinate their students, Milei has tried to dismiss the university budget crisis as politics as usual. In his drive to reach zero deficit, Milei is slashing spending across Argentina, shuttering ministries, defunding cultural centers, laying off state workers, and cutting subsidies. On Monday, he had something to show for it, announcing Argentina's first quarterly fiscal surplus since 2008 and promising the public the pain would pay off.
A team of experts from the UN Nuclear Agency inspected the tsunami-hit Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant Wednesday for a review of its discharge of treated radioactive wastewater into the Pacific. The International Atomic Energy Agency inspection was part of a four-day visit to Japan that started with Tuesday. It's second since the water discharge began last August despite strong protest from fishing groups and neighboring China, which has banned Japanese seafood. The IAEA team will issue a report later. The Japanese government and the plant operator, Tokyo Electric Power Company Holdings, say the discharges are diluted to better than international standards.
IAEA Chief Rafael Mariano Grossi said in March that they were being carried out safely. A 2011 earthquake and tsunami damaged the Fukushima plant's power supply and reactor cooling functions, triggering meltdowns of 3 reactors and causing large amounts of radioactive wastewater to accumulate. After more than a decade of cleanup work, the plant began discharging the water after treating it and diluting it with seawater on August 24, starting a process that's expected to take decades. After Wednesday's plant visit, the IAEA team members are expected to have more discussion in Tokyo through Friday. Data and samples collected from the Fukushima plant will be corroborated at IAEA labs and independent third-party labs from China, South Korea, Switzerland, and the United States, and will be released in a report later.
The British Army has recovered several horses after they broke free from the prestigious household cavalry and bolted through London on Wednesday morning. A number of people and horses are currently being treated for injuries incurred during the incident, though further details about their conditions are unavailable. In a statement emailed to CNN, a spokesperson for the British Army said a number of military working horses became loose during routine exercise this morning. All of the horses have now been recovered and returned to camp.
6 soldiers and 7 horses from the lifeguards, part of the household cavalry, were conducting an extended exercise on Wednesday morning, the Army said. The animals were spooked when some concrete fell off a conveyor belt being used in nearby construction work and hit the ground. 5 of the horses bolted, while 2 remained in place. The Army said 4 of the soldiers were unseated and 3 were injured. These 3 are currently being assessed in the hospital but are not thought to be in a life-threatening condition. Less than an hour after that was posted, colleagues at neighboring Westminster Police posted an update to say that all of the horses have been accounted for and that they were continuing to liaise with the Army.
At least 32 people have been killed and 2 are missing after flash floods almost half of Kenya. Some 103,500 people in all have been affected. Kenya has registered heavy rain since mid-March, but downpours have intensified over the past week, leading to mass flooding. The Kenya Red Cross says it has carried out over 188 rescues since the onset in March. Some roads in the Kenya capital of Nairobi were closed Wednesday, and several neighborhoods remained submerged after another day of heavy rainfall. The situation in Nairobi has escalated to extreme levels. The county government, for all its efforts, is clearly overwhelmed, wrote City Senator Edwin Sifuna on his X account.
The Kenya Red Cross Society said it had rescued 18 people in the Mathare 4A neighborhood who had become stranded due to floodwaters caused by heavy rains last night in Nairobi. It added that it was carrying out other life-saving operations in other parts of the country. 2 major highways out of Nairobi saw heavy traffic on Wednesday after floodwaters submerged parts of them. The Kenya Urban Roads Authority partially closed 4 roads that were heavily affected and warned of flooding on 2 others. Kenya Railways suspended commuter train services nationwide. The Kenya Meteorological Department warned of heavy to very heavy rainfall in parts of the country in an update on Wednesday. Continued rainfall is anticipated across various parts of the country as indicated in the Wednesday and Thursday rainfall forecast maps, it said in a statement.
Skies over southern Greece turned an orange hue on Tuesday as dust clouds blown across the Mediterranean Sea from North Africa engulfed the Acropolis and other Athens landmarks. Strong southerly winds carried the dust from the Sahara Desert, giving the atmosphere of the Greek capital a Martian-like filter in the last hours of daylight. On Tuesday, the daily high in parts of the southern island of Crete topped 86 Fahrenheit, some 70 degrees Fahrenheit higher than what was registered in much of northern Greece. The strong southerly winds over the past few days have also fanned unseasonal early wildfires in the country's south.
The strong southerly winds over the past few days have also fanned unseasonal early wildfires in the country's south. The fire service said Tuesday evening that a total 25 wildfires broke out across the country in the past 24 hours. Greece suffers devastating, and often deadly, forest blazes every summer, and last year the country recorded the European Union's largest wildfire in more than 2 decades. Persistent drought combined with high spring temperatures has raised fears of a particularly challenging period for firefighters in the coming months.
The answer for yesterday is A, exception. Nobody had much money at the time, and I was no exception. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of IAEA inspects Fukushima radioactive water release. Number 1, discharge. 排出,排放,流出. The river is diverted through the power station before discharging into the sea. Number 2, treat. 利用化学物质或反应来处理、保护、保存. About 70% of the cocoa acreage is treated with insecticide. Number 3, radioactive. 放射性的,有辐射的. The government has been storing radioactive waste at Furno for 50 years. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced next week. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune into Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.